Hi, and welcome back to the securiCAD screencast series. In this screencast we will look at how to work with the components. Components are essential when dealing with larger environments, and they can be described as sets of reusable modeling objects. But instead of just talking about them, let me show you. Like before, we start with the securiCAD Community Edition. In the left column here we have the so-called Object Explorer, which is a list of what I sometimes call the native objects. And below that one we have a Components tab here, which is showing categories of predefined standard components that comes with securiCAD. If we start to look at the upper list here with the so-called native objects, we can pick out items from here, like host, for instance. Then it means that we get a host object added to our model. This object we added is just a host object, no additional objects at all. So what we would do now is probably that we would like to add an access control, because most hosts or any host have got that, and we can drop it into the host object to hide it. Then we see that it contains access control. Then we want to add a service maybe, and we get the standard question. Okay, I say that this is non-root application execution, whatever, for this example. So we have a service here. A service has also got an access control, so let's add that. And then we put them together like this. Okay, we have a host here containing access control and service. Obviously, adding and connecting objects like this one by one is a quite time-consuming process. It's a really good approach for some use cases like application threat modeling, but when modeling an architecture or a high-level architecture, I really recommend that you go for the components instead. So if we look at the components section here, we see that we have a category called hosts. And what we see here is a basic list of predefined components that comes with securiCAD. So for instance, we see that it says Linux web server here. So instead of adding a host object from the native objects list, I would select the Linux web server and drop it onto this canvas over here. So let's see what we got. We right click on this one and we say show all connected objects. And if I move to the side here, I see that I have a service. It's an Apache web service. I have an access control, and this host is based on a Linux distribution, and I also have an SSHD service here. If I repeat show all connected objects on the Apache web service, I get an additional set of objects here. There's a data store for the web content, there's an access control, there's a software product defining what type of software this is, and there's also a web application object connected on top of this service here. So by using this component, we added all these objects to the model in one shot. Therefore, my recommendation when creating a high-level model is to first check the component section to see if there is a component that would match the asset you are about to model. As you have noticed, the collection of bundle components is quite small. So therefore, in the next screencast, I will show you how to create and share your own components.